It all started on a bright afternoon when I was enjoying my property by the lake. The water shimmered under the sun, birds were chirping, and everything felt perfectly peaceful. That peace didn't last long. Out of nowhere, HOA Karen appeared, clipboard in hand, looking every bit like she owned the place. She claimed I was violating some obscure HOA rule about the lake and insisted I needed permission. Before I could even respond, she mentioned fines and threats of escalation. I stayed calm. I knew the lake was part of my property. I had the deeds and county records to prove it. Karen, however, was relentless. Her tone grew sharper, almost combative, as she tried to assert her authority. Then, in a move that shocked me but didn't surprise me, she pulled out her phone and called the cops. I watched, amused but cautious, as she painted me as the rebellious homeowner refusing to comply. Within minutes, 2 officers arrived. They were professional, serious, and clearly used to handling tense situations. They asked me politely if I knew why they were there. I told them the truth, that I owned the lake, had every right to access it, and that the HOA had no authority over it. I calmly offered to show them the evidence. I handed over my property maps, HOA agreements, and official county records. Karen hovered nearby, expecting the cops to side with her immediately. But as the officers examined the documents, the tension in the air grew thick. The maps clearly marked the boundaries, the legal descriptions were crystal clear, and the lake fell under my property title, not the HOA's. The officers looked at Karen, then back at the documents, and delivered the facts with professional clarity. They could not enforce HOA rules on land that wasn't part of the HOA. Karen's confidence started to crumble. She waved her papers, muttered about rules and authority, but her words fell flat. The officers were firm but neutral, sticking to the facts. I stayed calm, letting the truth do the talking. Inside, I couldn't help smiling. Watching someone who thought they had power slowly realize they didn't was satisfying, to say the least. After a few tense minutes, the officers told Karen she had no legal ground to demand compliance, and unless there was an actual law being broken, there was nothing they could do. She left muttering threats about next time, clearly frustrated and embarrassed. I waved goodbye, knowing the lake was mine, protected by facts and documentation. But that was just the beginning. I knew Karen wouldn't simply give up. Over the next few days, I noticed her sending letters, trying to rally other HOA members, and making claims that stretched the truth. I kept calm, prepared for every possible move. I knew that in situations like this, patience and preparation were more powerful than anger or retaliation. I decided to gather everything in one place, my deeds, surveys, emails, and photographs, so that if she tried anything else, I would have an unbreakable defense. Every time she showed up or sent another notice, I responded calmly, pointing to the evidence. It wasn't about winning an argument, it was about showing facts, and facts don't lie. Eventually, the HOA's attempts fizzled. Members who had initially been swayed by Karen's claims began to realize that she had overstepped her authority. Her credibility within the community started to crumble. People began asking questions. Why is she targeting one homeowner? Does she actually have the right? With each inquiry, her position weakened further. The moment of victory came when I attended the HOA meeting, calmly presenting my evidence. Maps, deeds, and official records laid out on the table made it impossible for anyone to argue. Karen tried her usual dramatic approach, but the room could see the truth for themselves. The lake had never been part of the HOA. The board had no claim. And just like that, the conflict was resolved. Not with yelling, not with threats, but with calm persistence and solid documentation. Looking back, I realized how easily things could have spiraled out of control if I hadn't stayed composed. HOA Karen thought she could bully me with authority and fear, but preparation, patience, and a firm understanding of my rights turned the tables completely. The lake wasn't just a piece of property. It was proof that knowledge is power, and facts always win over intimidation. So the next time someone tries to overstep their boundaries, remember this story. Don't panic, don't argue emotionally, and never underestimate the power of evidence. Stay calm, stay prepared, and let the facts speak. Because in the end, truth isn't just on your side, it's unstoppable. After the HOA meeting, I thought the ordeal was finally over. But HOA Karen wasn't done yet. A few days later, I noticed another letter in my mailbox. This one was full of vague threats and legal jargon, hoping to intimidate me into backing down. I took a deep breath, reminding myself that the truth was on my side. I knew exactly what to do: stay calm, stay prepared, and document everything. I started by reviewing the HOA's rules once again, comparing them carefully with my property deeds and county records. Every line, every clause, confirmed what I already knew: the lake was legally mine. Karen's threats were nothing more than an attempt to scare me. But I realized that while facts were my shield, sharing this story could help others facing similar harassment. And that's when I decided to record everything, step by step, so viewers like you could see how to handle it. I filmed short clips of the lake, the property boundaries, and the key documents. I explained calmly what happened, why the HOA had no authority, and how anyone in a similar situation could protect themselves. The response from neighbors and online viewers was incredible. People commented, asking questions, sharing their own experiences, and thanking me for showing that standing up to overreach doesn't have to be scary. Meanwhile, Karen tried a few more tactics: small complaints, subtle threats, but nothing worked. Every time I responded with evidence and professionalism. It became clear that once you know your rights and stay composed, even the most aggressive HOA member loses their power. Watching her frustration grow while I remained calm was oddly satisfying. This whole experience taught me something important: knowledge is your best weapon. If you have the facts, the right documentation, and patience, you can stand up to intimidation without losing your cool. And sharing your story, that's how you help others avoid the same stress. Now, if you've enjoyed this story, if it's inspired you, or if you want to see how I continue to protect my property and navigate tricky HOA situations, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know that these stories matter to you. And if you want to see more real-life conflicts, legal battles, and homeowner wins, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. I also want to leave you with one last tip. When facing an overbearing HOA or anyone who tries to overstep, always keep your records organized, stay polite but firm, and never let fear dictate your actions. It's amazing how much power a calm, prepared response can have. And if you ever feel unsure, check your local property laws. Knowledge is your strongest ally. So remember, the lake is mine, the HOA lost, and truth always wins. And if you're facing something similar, take a page from this story. Document everything, stay calm, and don't be afraid to stand up for your rights. Finally, before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might need a reminder that facts beat intimidation every time. Your support helps more stories like this reach the people who need them most, and I promise there's more drama, strategy, and homeowner victories coming soon. Stay tuned and remember, always protect what's yours.